Welcome back to Dev Errors Fixed. Today, the circular import, one of Python's most confusing errors, cannot import name something from a partially initialized module, most likely due to a circular import. It happens when two files import each other, and it stops your program before it even starts. We'll reproduce it live, understand exactly why Python trips, and fix it cleanly. Let's go. First tidy. Imagine two files that depend on each other. A .py needs something from b.py and b.py needs something from a .py. Here's the key fact about Python. The first time you import a module, Python runs that file from top to bottom to build it. Now, if A is halfway through loading and it imports B, and B immediately tries to grab a name from A, that name hasn't been created yet because A isn't finished. Python won't wait, it raises import error and tells you the module was only partially initialized. Let's watch it happen. Here is exactly what goes wrong step by step. We run main which imports A, Python starts loading A from the top, and A's very first line imports B. So Python pauses A, still half built, and starts loading B. But B's first line says, from an import greeting, Python looks at the A and A is right there in memory, but it's only partially initialized. Greeting hasn't been defined yet, because we never got past A's first line. So the name isn't found, and Python raises import error. Cannot import name greeting from partially initialized module A. The loop is the problem. A is waiting on B, and B is waiting on a name that A hasn't reached yet. Let's build the broken version so you can see it. This is b.py. At the very top, it imports greeting from A at module level the moment B loads, then a helper function, empty for now. The other file, a .py, imports B at its top and defines greeting, so each file reaches for the other as it loads. Let's fill in the helper and run it. Here's B's helper filled in. It just uses greeting, the value it imported from nothing exotic. The trap isn't in the function body, it's that top line, the import that runs the instant B is loaded, while A is still only half built. Let's run the program and watch Python trip on exactly that. We run main which imports A, and there it is. Import error, cannot import name greeting from partially initialized module A, most likely due to a circular import. Read the traceback, it points right at base top line from our import greeting. That import ran while I was still loading. Greeting didn't exist yet, and Python stopped. The two files were each waiting on the other. Now the fix. The cleanest fix is to break the timing, not the design. The problem is only that B imports from a too early, while A is still loading. So instead of importing at the top of B, we move that import inside the function that actually needs it, a deferred or lazy import. Now the import doesn't run when B loads, it runs later, only when the function is actually called. And by the time anyone calls it, both modules have finished loading, so the name definitely exists. Same code, later timing, no deadlock, let's apply it. Here's the fix in B. We delete the top level import and instead put from an import greeting inside the helper function. Read it. The import now lives on the first line of the function, so it only executes when the function runs, well after both files have loaded. That's the whole change, moving one import down into the function. Let's run it again. Same command, and now it just works. Helper A arrow, helper B uses hello from A. No error, because the import inside B only fired when the function was called, by which point A was fully built and greeting existed. The circular dependency is still there in spirit, but the timing no longer collides. That's the fix. Oh shit, a quick recap. A circular import happens when two modules import each other at load time, so one runs while the other is only half built and the name it needs doesn't exist yet. The quick surgical fix is a deferred import. Move the import inside the function that needs it, so it runs after everything's loaded, and if you keep hitting this, it's often a design smell. The cleaner long-term fix is to pull the shared thing into a third module that both import, breaking the loop entirely, import late or don't import in a circle. A quick note, reproducing these errors safely and explaining the fix line by line takes real work. If it helps you, the wallets are on screen and there's a Ko-fi link below. Every tip funds the next one. Thank you. That's the circular import, reproduced and fixed. Once you picture the two half-loaded modules waiting on each other, the error message finally makes sense. And the deferred import fix is a one-line move. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Tell me in the comments which error to break down next, and I'll see you there.